welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we are in the new 2020 Infiniti Q60 Red Sport, courtesy of Infiniti of Mechanicsburg, of course, in Mechanicsburg, PA. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so I am definitely quite excited to be in this one today. Reason being is because I actually owned an Infiniti G35. This is kind of the successor of that one back when it was car of the year. And I absolutely loved that car. I remember my now wife and I drifting that thing all over the place. It was super fun. And so now years later, we are back at it again. So what do you say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so MSRP for the 2020 Infiniti Q60 Red Sport will start at $57,150, and that one would be a rear-wheel drive configuration. You can get all-wheel drive, and we do have the all-wheel drive configuration today. If you went that route, that pricing is going to start at $59,150. And so regardless of which setup that you go with, power plant is actually going to be the same on this one. Powering this beast will be a 3-liter twin-turbo V6, putting out 400 horsepower at 6,400 RPM, 350 pound-feet of torque available at 1,600 RPM, power center rear wheels or all wheels through a 7-speed automatic with paddle shifters. Thank you, Nissan and Infiniti, for not throwing a CVT in this thing. But those paddle shifters will actually include downshift rev matching as well, another added bonus there. And 0 to 60 time comes in at approximately 4.5 seconds, which we will be testing out in a little bit here, with MPG numbers coming in at 20 in the city, 27 highway for the rear wheel drive, 19 city, 26 highway for the all-wheel drive configuration. Either way, taking premium unleaded fuel, aka 91 octane and higher, basically. And so before we do any kind of paddle shifter tests or fun accelerations in this one, I did want to mention there is a drive mode button directly behind the circular dial and shifter there. And so when pressed, those driving modes are going to include standard, snow, eco, sport, sport plus, and personal. I emphasize snow because that is pretty darn cool for a car like this to have a snow driving mode, and all-wheel drive for that matter. Back when it was the G35, it was just a rear-wheel drive setup, but still a fun car, don't get me wrong. But I love that it's all-wheel drive, especially living here in Pennsylvania. But getting off point, what those driving modes are actually going to do is adjust things like the throttle response, shift points, the steering sensitivity, and the suspension settings as well. And I'll get more into that later. But having said all of that, let's go ahead and play around with that driving mode. Let's put it in Sport Plus. Sounds like a fun one. Let's go ahead and push the shifter all the way to the back and to the left. That is going to give me full manual shift mode here, and that is going to allow us to go ahead and test out the paddle shifters. And so let's go ahead and find a straightaway here, and let's see how quickly they are going to react for us here. You guys hear that downshift rev matching? Listen. Holy crap. Yeah. Paddle shifters are ridiculously quick. Kind of took me by surprise there. I was expecting a little bit of delay, I'm being quite honest, but dang, they were quick. Holy moly. Wow, yeah, definitely paddle shifters are fun. Certainly not gonna have any regrets playing with them. That was fun, dude. And another thing with the paddle shifters, they did have downshift rev matching. That was pretty cool. There's not a whole lot of cars with paddle shifters that do that, so I love that Infiniti does that with the Q60 Red Sport here, so well done. All right, now let's give control back to the car here. I'm just gonna slide the shifter all the way to the right here. That's gonna give the Q60 back full control, and from a standstill, let's hit the gas. Wow, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, I missed that. That was ridiculous. No spinning whatsoever, and that is key because, of course, with the rear-wheel drive configuration that I had back in the day, I kind of used it as a drift car. That was fun, but dang, you can feel it. You can feel it in your chest when you hit the gas there. That was amazing. Wow, that brings me back. Kind of tempting. That was fun. And so, but anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 14-inch ventilated front discs with 4-piston front calipers. In the back, 13.8-inch ventilated rear discs with 2-piston rear calipers. As far as the braking feel goes, 100% no issues whatsoever. There's certainly no brake pedal delay. It brings you to an immediate stop, as you would imagine with that kind of a brake setup, to be quite honest. But Definitely a very nice braking setup for the Q60. Touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent double wishbone type front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. And the best part about the suspension system, as I was alluding to earlier, is the adaptive suspension, the adaptive damping system. So essentially what that is going to do is it's going to absorb a lot of the road's imperfections, not only giving you a smoother ride, but it will also tighten up that suspension during heavy cornering, again giving you the best of both worlds, a little better handling there. So absolutely love that the Q60 Red Sport comes with that. That is a huge plus in my book, and a very smooth ride, I can tell you without a doubt. Definitely absorbing PA's road imperfections quite nicely so far, so you could tell it's there. It's definitely a night and day difference if you were to not have that adaptive damping system. As far as steering feel goes, it is just fine. Definitely a heavier weight when you get into that Sport and Sport Plus driving mode, comparatively speaking to the standard driving mode that I actually just put it back in right now. But in addition to that, if you wanted an even heavier weighted steering wheel, there is actually a proactive package, and that package goes for $2,850. That's going to give you direct adaptive steering, essentially a better steering feel, a heavier steering feel I should say, and just more of a direct response. So that is yet another option you can go with, although we don't have that option today. But if you were planning on really taking this thing through the back roads, it's definitely something that's going to give you a little bit more fun on those back roads, and something to consider there. As far as cabin noise goes, it's been perfectly quiet in here today, so definitely no issues there. This is a luxury vehicle, so you're of course not going to have any issues there. Touching on visibility, I can see perfectly fine out the back. I never had any issues in my G35 either, so visibility is right on point there. In addition to that though, rain sensing windshield wipers coming standard on the Q60 Red Sport, so that is a huge plus as well. Perhaps the only room for improvement that I really found when it comes to visibility is a head-up display might be nice, better help keep your eyes on the road, but other than that, it's not necessary. It's just maybe an option that they could throw in there if they wanted to, but they don't have to. But anywho, that about rounds out the performance segment of this review. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of this Iridium Blue 2020 Infiniti Q60 Red Sport. All right, and here she is, you guys, with this amazing design. Part of the reason why I got one back in the day, the design is 100% on point, really always has been with the Q60 and my old G35. But anyways, let's go ahead and start up front here. Black mesh front grille coming standard. To the sides, LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. And those headlights, of course, coming with the automatic feature, meaning when it starts to get dark out, they will turn on automatically for you there. Just below, front fog lights coming standard once again. And like I had mentioned earlier, with that proactive package, that is also actually going to give you an adaptive front lighting system with auto leveling, meaning when you're going around a bend at night, that adaptive front lighting system will swivel based on your steering angle, better help illuminating what is around the bend, so you're less likely to hit a deer or any kind of other animals, or even people really. But so that is definitely a huge safety feature in itself. But let's now go ahead and make our way to the side on this one. Chrome window surrounds coming standard, also chrome accenting found on the doors, and you will get some chrome fender accenting as well. They kind of look like boomerangs, but they definitely look good down there. Gloss black power adjustable heated side mirrors with LED integrated turn signals will come standard, and they will actually also be auto dimming side mirrors with the reverse tilt down feature. And so auto dimming, meaning you usually have an auto dimming rear view mirror, but auto dimming side mirrors is one of those luxury features that you really do need to go with the luxury brand to get. So that is definitely a huge plus there. Taking a look down at the wheel setup, 20 by 9 inches up front, 20 by 9.5 inch aluminum alloys if you were to go with the rear wheel drive configuration. And so that is probably one of the things that kind of frustrated me a little bit when I had the rear wheel drive setup back in the day. You can't rotate the tires, but it is a cool drift car if you go that route. But either way, if you go with the all-wheel drive setup, you don't have to worry about that. Then you can rotate the tires. And that is a 20-inch non-staggered aluminum alloy setup with summer tires for the rear-wheel drive setup and all-season performance tires for the all-wheel drive setup. And you don't need summer tires with the all-wheel drive setup. Let me tell you, there was no loss of grip whatsoever during that acceleration. So tires are definitely on point with this one. Let's open now, make your way to the back. Integrated rear spoiler coming standard, LED taillights also standard on this one, and just below it all, perhaps my favorite part, dual exhaust outlets with brushed satin tips. And look at the detail on these brushed satin tips. They look absolutely aggressive and menacing. And so I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. Therefore, as always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright you guys, and so now since we are round back, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there is a button on the key fob, so simply hold that down if you like. There is also a button by the driver's side left knee. That is yet another way to go about opening that rear trunk, but my favorite way to go about opening this one, there's actually a silver button within the driver's side tail light. You almost never see that. That's pretty quirky and that's pretty cool. So I do like that it's there, but I'm gonna pick that way to open it up any day of the week. But once opened up, cargo capacity is gonna come in at 8.7 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, those rear seats of course do fold down for quite a bit of extra space there if you needed it. Making our way to the rear legroom. This is one of my favorite parts from my G35 back in the day. Rear legroom is actually all right for a 2+2 seater. It comes in at 32.4 inches. So believe it or not, I was able to fit my friends back there, and yeah, they weren't the most comfortable in the world, but it worked. So it does work for rear passengers, even if they're adults. So I don't know, for reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. And they do have a little tray area in the middle with a couple cup holders as well. So rear passengers, although it might be a little bit cramped, of course, it's doable and it has been done by myself, so that's pretty cool. Making our way up to the front seats. 8-way power adjustable front seats will come standard with power lumbar adjustment and power torso adjustment. You don't often see that, so I do love that if you're taking the back roads a little bit faster. That's pretty cool. Heated front seats coming standard, of course, with a leather finish, although there are no ventilated seats, so I guess that's one drawback, but I don't really care, quite honestly, personally at least. But taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping, it is leather wrapped, and it is heated, and that is a huge plus as well for super cold days in Pennsylvania. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but the paddle shifters are finished in black to match the steering wheel. So a lot of other paddle shifters, just about in every other manufacturer, they're finished in a silver or a magnesium finish, but in the Infiniti, they are in black, and I kind of like it. They look pretty good up there. But making our way to the startup, you will find all of those buttons located on one side of the key. Infiniti logo at the very top, lock, unlock button to pop the rear hatch, that circular button at the very top just below the Infiniti logo. That is your remote start, coming standard, by the way. That's a huge plus. And of course, it's all keyless entry, so simply just leave the key in your pocket, walk up to the Q60. There is a push button start located just to the right of the gauge setup. So I'm just gonna put my foot on the brake here and press that engine start button. And so, but once started up, tachometer is on your left, speedometer is on your right. There is a smallish digital display front and center, which by the way can be controlled by using the steering wheel mounted controls on the right side of the steering wheel. It's going to tell you things like how many miles you have left until you hit empty. There's your trip A, trip B, of course. There's a compass up there, what radio station you're on. There's some safety features, tire pressure information. When you need your next oil change, you're going to find that actually saves you some money there. And there's a couple other things you can display up there if you wanted to as well. But maybe in the future, Infiniti, if you wanted to throw a digital gauge setup up there like Audi or Mercedes-Benz or something like that, that'd be pretty cool too. But nonetheless, still a very nice gauge display up there. But now let's make our way to overall interior quality here. Power moonroof coming standard. There is a black headliner that comes standard since we're looking up at the moonroof right now. Would have loved to see that as like a microfiber suede headliner. That would be cool in the future as well. Dual zone climate control coming standard, overhead sunglass holder as well, and overall a very high-end finish to the Q60 Red Sport. You're gonna find things like authentic carbon fiber. There's a lot of fake carbon fiber going out there right now with other manufacturers, but Infiniti uses the real deal. On the doors, of course, also just around the infotainment displays and around the cup holders down here by the shifter as well. So all of this authentic carbon fiber. I love the two-tone leather, the light leather with the dark leather contrast. There's some red stitching within that leather as well. Very, very high-end finishes. Also like the Pennsylvania Turnpike ticket holder up here on the driver's side vanity mirror. That's pretty cool. Also HomeLink controls for up to 3 different garage doors. That's a huge plus because the alternative is a rattling garage door opener on that vanity mirror. Nobody likes that. Overall, it's a very high-end finish. As far as room for improvement goes, maybe some ambient lighting would be pretty cool, or some microfiber suede finishes to go along with that super high-end carbon fiber. So in the end, a very on-point finish. Just in front of the shifter, you have a 12-volt power outlet and some more charging ports within the center armrest. You got a USB charging port, phone port, auxiliary port, 12-volt power outlet once again. So definitely a very nice finish here. But so now, you guys, I put it in the title of this video, there is one major change for the 2020 Q60 Red Sport, and a change that is needed, and I wouldn't buy a car without this these days, actually. And it has to do with the tech display. And so actually you have two infotainment screens front and center here. You have an 8-inch upper screen, a 7-inch lower screen. They're both color touchscreen displays. Wouldn't have minded seeing one large tablet style display screen up there, or even a larger horizontal screen, but that's just my personal preference. But Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard. But now, the best part for the 2020 Q60 Red Sport, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay has finally arrived. That does come standard now on this one, and this is a huge deal for me. All you need to do is simply hook your smartphone up to the Q60. Therefore, you have free navigation displayed up on that upper tech display. And with Google Mapping, you know it's constantly updated. It actually detects speed traps on my way here, for instance, even. So these are some of the reasons I love Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Of course, you can actually also like and dislike your Pandora songs up on that screen as well. So definitely a huge fan. I'm glad Infiniti finally put that on this one. Factory navigation system, though, nonetheless coming standard. You can, of course, check out your radio settings up there as well. And by the way, when it comes to the sound system, I have a feeling this is going to be another huge plus on this one. 13 speaker Bose sound system with metal or aluminum speakers, and they look absolutely wonderful. So what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one.
Like it's water on my level, can't afford it. I'm relying here.
Massaging seats is what you get with that sound system. That was amazing. I also had a Bose sound system in the G35 that I used to have. It never broke on me, never failed me. Always had a ton of bass, just like this one, crystal clear. I absolutely love that sound system in the Q60 here. So well done, Infiniti. Well done, Bose, I should say. So that was intense. Last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that tech display, though, is when you do put the Q60 Red Sport in reverse, you will find a rear view camera with a 360-degree monitor, letting you know what is all around you so you don't go running anything or anyone over, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so to start, front side curtain airbags will come standard. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Also, tire pressure monitoring system. There is a blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert, forward collision warning, forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection. All of this stuff coming standard on the Q60 Red Sport. And then once again, alluding back to that proactive package, that is going to, in additional to what I already mentioned, add adaptive cruise control, distance control assist, lane departure warning, blind spot intervention system, high beam assist, pre-crash seat belts, and an adaptive front lighting system like I had mentioned earlier with auto leveling. And so, but anyways, that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen there if you like. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold. All right, for all my JDM guys out there questioning where this thing is actually made, where the Q60 is assembled, it is 95% Japan. This is 100% JDM still to this day. That is awesome.